your best. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and the prom queen.
Welcome to the best soccer show. The best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go. Best soccer show, backheel.com. Jason Davis Jared DuBois. We are live. It is Monday. I'm fired up. There's like stuff happening and things going on.
You're fired up.
I don't know. I'm always fired up. When I get to this show and I sit down in this chair, I open this microphone, I get to stare at you.
But that's the same. That's the same chair and the same microphone you use during the day.
I know, but then I don't have my lovely Skype window that shows Jared DuBois sitting in.
Oh, I heard you didn't have any lovely Skype windows today.
Today, Skype just effed us. Effed us in the A, Jared.
Man,
say that? This is a family program, right? That's probably.
Well, you meant like fooled them in April.
Hopes.
They fooled you in April. That's what you mean, right?
Something like that. Yeah. Skype was down all day. I'm very glad that Skype is not down right now because that means we get to do the best soccer show, which is my favorite. It's my favorite, Jared. It's my.
You say that.
Oh, it is. It's my favorite. All right, we got a lot to discuss on this program. Lots of soccer. A full MLS weekend. Several interesting results. We've got an Olympic qualifying roster from Andreas Herzog. Andy, our man Andy.
Oh, is he the coach now? I lose track.
We've talked about this before. Were you not prepared? You're not paying attention?
I guess so. I'm not. Are you like me? Are you paying far less attention to the U23 this time around because Caleb Porter's not coaching it?
I think I'm paying less attention because I don't want to get hurt this time, Jared. I'm protecting myself.
He's broken your heart one too many times, that Jurgen Klinsmann.
2012 was not fun. You know, Caleb Porter took our kids to the Olympic qualifying tournament in the United States. It wasn't a difficult group. All they had to do was, finish first or second.
Sean Johnson had a rough night.
Yes, he did, but that was on everybody. They lost to Canada in that tournament, Jared.
That's the worst of worst.
They lost to Canada, and so this time around, look, I think that they're talented enough. I do wonder, we'll get into it. I wonder where the goals are going to come from, and they don't have any fullbacks, just like the senior team. Where are the fullbacks? Nobody's got.
Well, at least here's the one thing you can say about this. For the first time ever in the United States soccer system, there is a consistent theme at all levels.
No fullbacks? No fullbacks.
Yeah. Okay. Screw fullbacks. We don't need them.
We don't, and we
or
don't
strikers.
Don't necessarily know who our strikers are. Jordan Morris is in the well.
Yeah, see, it's kind of unfair with Jordan Morris is in there. You guess that's the guy you're going to be relying on, but a lot of these other guys, cool. I mean, I guess I'm sure he knows more than I do. I'm not going to say just because I don't know who someone is that I'm not right, but
right, exactly. That's the other thing is learning who these guys are. Maybe this tournament gives us an opportunity. Everything kicks off on October 1st. We can go over that roster. I think we should set the stage for callers because again, lots in MLS to discuss. 347-756-6276. Should I do it? Should I go ahead? Should I go ahead and hit you in the gut right now, Jared?
With what?
With the LA Galaxy losing 3-0 to RSL.
Dude, come on, man. There's a time to this afternoon where this show almost wasn't going to happen. I was like, at least I don't have to talk about that.
And Steven Gerrard looking raggedy, maybe because he went to London in the middle
He's looked raggedy since day one.
He had a couple of nice outings, but yeah, it's been a rough.
He had a couple of decent spells. I mean, he hasn't looked good at all.
Okay. When you put your best lineup out there.
He doesn't look like the top MLS rated player in FIFA 16.
Oh my God. Do you want to talk about that? Because, yeah, come on. Really?
Is this in Legends mode or something? I don't know.
And the thing about it is EA Sports is based in Vancouver. They're here. They're in this part of the world. They don't have.
Canada's not really this part of the world.
Yeah, they are. Come on, man. Don't be mean to our Canadian brethren. They make good bacon, even though it's not really bacon. I don't know what it is. What is it? Like ham, right? It's like ham.
It's ham. There's like no fat in it.
It's ham. Roberto's on the line. What's up, Roberto?
Hey, Jason. Hey, Jared. How are you guys tonight?
What up?
Shame that you couldn't have Soccer Morning today.
I know. It was a shame. It was indeed a shame. Too bad. Now you get to say your piece on this show, Roberto.
Yeah, absolutely. I was wondering if you heard the news about the possible merging of a North American and South American club competition.
You know what?
hear about that?
I forgot. Thank you for mentioning that because I forgot to put it on my outline. Jared, have you heard about this?
Don't know it.
Okay, it is essentially Champions League of the Americas.
Ooh, watch out now.
So the guy, one of the individuals, I think his name is Silva, involved in the Miami FC project, the NASL.
Oh, I'm already worried.
That's supposed to start next year. He
Let me
owns.
guess. He's formerly employee of Traffic.
No, but he does stuff similar. He has his own company that does some stuff that's very similar.
I'm already nervous.
He's got an idea, Jared, and his idea is a game
It's a
changer.
terrible one.
He thinks we should have a Champions League that spans the entire length from Toronto, I guess that's the north, Montreal, all the way down to Tierra del Fuego. Like, we gotta.
I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying that it would take more scheduling. I think more scheduling ability than any number of nations and federations could come together to do. Because if you're playing in this tournament, you can't do a midweek game. You can't. Or if you're going to do a midweek game, you can't do a weekend game.
That's what
The league has to give them the weekend off. You can't make that trip. That's a 15-hour flight.
Okay, look, I imagine what they'll try to do. 64 teams is the plan, okay? And imagine what they'll try to do is to group teams geographically. So more than likely, MLS teams will be grouped with Liga MX teams, maybe some Costa Rican teams, maybe some.
So why not just make the 4 finalists, or I guess 64 teams is what they're trying to do, but why not just make the 4 finalists of the CONCACAF Champions League and the 4 finalists of Copa Libertadores play against each other?
Because this tournament has to stand on its own. Because you know why? Because of the dollars, my friend. Because of the money.
Okay, but what does I get what the rest of the world kind of has to gain from this, because here's the thing: everyone wants the U.S. dollar. Why is the the Gold Cup every year? Why is the Gold Cup every year in the United States?
That's what I'm. Obviously, this is about cash. He thinks that this tournament could be worth $500 million in TV licensing fees.
But what does MLS have to gain from that? The TV money? I guess that's the only thing. A share of the TV money?
You know what MLS would have to gain from it, or at least what they think they would have to gain from it is prestige. MLS is on this. They are trying. They are so thirsty for prestige. They want to shortcut to our league matters, our teams matter, and we're playing in things that matter. And right now, MLS done playing crap that matters.
I get that. But at the same time, is MLS ready for a tournament of this stature when they can't even beat Mexico in CONCACAF tournaments?
It's a very good question.
Now, I get it. The league, this tournament may be changing formats in the near future to a schedule that will finally be able to answer if MLS is as good as the Mexican teams when they're in their prime. But until that happens, I'm nervous that MLS is ready to play the Boca Juniors of the world, the Sao Paulos of the world. Is MLS ready for that stage? And if we're already intimidated by Mexican atmospheres every time we play in this tournament, are we ready for Argentinian atmospheres?
No.
Are we ready for Brazilian atmospheres? Are we ready for some of those rogue nations in the middle we don't even know how to pronounce?
No, and you know what? I imagine in order for this to come off, MLS would have to sign off, Liga MX would have to sign off. You know, obviously the top division in Costa Rica and a couple other nations in the North America and Central America. Then you'd obviously have to have Colombia and Brazil, Argentina, Chile. So I don't think it can happen without MLS. But remember, it's not just about MLS either.
Okay, so in that regard, I have a pick your poison for you regarding this topic. Would you rather see Don Garber and USSF pursue this route of trying to make a Super Champions League extraordinaire, or would you rather him pursue the route of making a tournament with the Premier League, which has been rumored?
Is there a gun to my head in this situation?
Oh, absolutely. There's a gun to your head in this situation.
A gun to my head. The Anglo-American Cup is a dumb idea, but it is
so pasty.
It's less invasive and less destructive and less distracting than Liga de Campeones.
I'm going to also say it's an easier sell to the American viewership than the other.
Probably. And I think that, okay, the one thing you can say, and the guy's name is, I did say it was Silva. What's his What's his
something
first-
Brazilian Silva?
Yeah. Okay. And Trevor brings up a good point here. I don't think the CONCACAF Champions League is going anywhere. I don't think it's growing. I don't think it's going to get bigger. I don't think it's going to matter. You don't
think if a U.S. team won it a couple times, it might be bigger?
No, I think it's too far behind the curve. It's too far behind Champions League. It's too far behind Copa Libertadores. It's too far behind the Copa Sudamericana. It's behind.
So basically, MLS needs venture capital.
MLS needs. You know what MLS needs? MLS needs somebody to get them to the front of the line at the club, to get them in the door.
They got to grease a palm.
They need somebody to put them on the list.
They need to be friends with either an attractive female, or get friends with a guy that's got tickets to the champagne room.
Exactly it.
MLS ain't getting to the front of the line on their own.
No. MLS needs the man. MLS needs the club owner's cousin to put him on the list.
The play cousin.
That's who he needs to get. That's what MLS needs. And I think that's why this would be attractive. That's why the Anglo-American Cup is attractive to Don Garber, because they are essentially trading off of the name of the Premier League teams to get their legitimacy. And here's the truth. And I'm going to say this as bluntly as I possibly can. Okay. I get why they might think that this is a good idea, but the only thing that's going to get MLS prestige is time. That's it. There's no recipe.
We can't wait for time, Jason.
No, I know. Nobody wants to wait. Nobody's going to be patient. No one's going to.
I'll tell you another reason why once again, gun to my head, I would prefer the Anglo-American Cup as well. I'm going to call it the Pasty Cup, and I would go with the Pasty
Cup, FPS 50 Cup.
SPF 50 Cup, yeah, I'll take that. The UV Cup,
Coppertone Cup.
Coppertone Cup, yeah, there you go. I would go with that for another reason, because I guarantee you, the America Combined Super Fragicalistic Cup, whatever there's going to be down south, that is going to end up being on BN Sports or something buried. FS2, I'm not going to be able to find it. And it's not going to get it's going to get plenty of money in other parts of the world, and they'll get a share of it here, but I'm not even going to be able to watch it. The Anglo Cup, the Coppertone Cup, is going to be on NBC Sports. I guarantee you that thing's going to be on a property that I can watch, ESPN,
I agree
NBC
with you.
Sports.
Trevor does not. Silent partner Trevor does not agree with you, but I do.
That's because he's the guy that's trying to find feeds of Icelandic soccer on the weekends.
I do think people will watch it. First of all, I think a Spanish language outlet would pick that up in a heartbeat. Okay, so that would be a big boost. Okay, and maybe MLS buys it.
I still think it's unproven in the States that that Anglophiles will watch Spanish language television soccer in order to get the game they want. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's as proven as people think. I think he'll do it. I know I'll do it. I would prefer not to if I have a decent announcer in English.
This is the Superliga on steroids in a way. It would certainly get all of those Americans who watch Liga MX every weekend to watch a tournament that involves MLS, and maybe that helps the league. Maybe that gives the league some juice. I mean, I think it worked the
opposite. Some of these Colombian youngsters may be like, "Ooh, God, that's what I'm standing up for." Oh man, I'm not going up there.
No, come on.
Oh,
I don't think that's no. Come on. I think it's.
I'm just not as sold on our product yet to put it in the shop window around South America when we have a track record of not performing outside of these borders.
No, I agree with you on that front, but I think the competitive front and the commercial front are different things. And one of the other things that bothers me about this is that while the CONCACAF Champions League is essentially a nothing tournament. It essentially is a nothing tournament, and it's been a nothing tournament.
It does have a bid into the big one.
I don't imagine that suddenly Boca and Sao Paulo and Corinthians and River Plate and everybody else in South America, and I've only named teams from 2 countries, are going to stop caring about Copa Lib over whatever this thing is. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're going to suddenly reprioritize. Now,
wait, are you saying that? So I apologize. I'm misunderstanding. You're saying that these other Copa Libs and CONCACAF Champions Leagues wouldn't go away?
I don't know that. It doesn't say anything about that.
I'm assuming that because then it seems entirely repetitive.
Okay, well, if you can find a way to team up with CONMEBOL and get them to bury or fold Copa Lib into this, maybe. But Copa Lib's got history. They're just going to throw history out the window and say, okay, let's do Champions League Americas because that's the way of the future. I don't think
it's a big gamble for an established property like Copa Lib to just throw away its history out the window.
That's what I'm saying. Roberto, you've basically been the third member of Best Soccer Show for the whole time. What, you got anything else?
Firstly, I don't agree with this. I completely get your point of how you can't just break that tradition of a 50 like the Copa Libertadores, own continental competition, and haven't won any since 2000. How on earth are we going to compete with South America?
You know what?
We haven't even beaten South America.
Here's where I am. If I will totally sign up for this, I'll even say, you know what? Who gives a crap about the travel? Whatever. Buy in, join up. If MLS says we're doubling the cap right now to try to compete in this tournament. That's the only way I'm cool with this.
That wouldn't be enough. That still wouldn't be enough.
No, probably not. Probably not. But I'd be willing to take the hit in the competition to get MLS to improve the cap by 100%.
Let me ask you a question on that then, Jason. Is your idea to double the cap to expand roster depth or bring higher level players in?
Both. Whatever you need to do to compete.
It wouldn't be enough.
Do you think simply doubling cap is enough to do both?
Well, okay. You keep the DP rules in place. Now you're working with a $6 million, $7 million cap, $7 million cap, right? For everybody else. You can spread your money out a little bit more. You can bring in a couple more players at the $300,000 level.
I think it's a dangerous precedent, but it depends what kind of TV money the MLS's share would be.
I'll tell you right now, doubling the cap puts MLS teams on equal footing. I'm not saying they beat them every time, but they puts them on more equal footing with with Liga MX. I keep doing that. Liga MX teams immediately.
Okay, I get that, but it's not like Liga MX isn't also going to get this cash money in flux. So, I mean, they're going to still have the same percentage that we're going to get pushing forward.
Yeah, that's not what I'm. Okay, look, there are clubs in Liga MX who spend way more money than any MLS team can hope to, even with a doubling of the cap, or they spend it more across the board on their players. Whereas we've got teams spending $20 million on 3 players making 16, everybody or 17 or 18, everybody else making right. I'm saying I take the hit. I don't care about the tournament. I don't care about the performance. If MLS would double the cap, and again. Forget. I don't even know what Liga MX would do, and I'm not talking about money coming in from the tournament. I'm just saying in general, if they just decided in order to compete in this tournament on a more level footing, or to have a go at the Mexican teams, they would double the cap. I would say yes. I'll sign up tomorrow for this tournament.
I would put one other thing out there. I said I would push any talks about doing something like this out another 4 years, because I think 4 years from now, maybe 3, I can't remember which it is when the Adidas kit deal runs out. Because that's something MLS signed up for and locked in a sum for a number of years, a multi-year contract. And I think if you're going to make this move, you need to align that when something like that is up, because now your kits and your brand is going to be out in front of a lot more eyes and a lot more TV sets, and your value is higher at that point. So I think if MLS is smart and they are going to go down one of these two paths eventually, time it with that, because then you have your most leverage you could possibly have when negotiating your next deal.
Let me say that while I don't know that logistically this makes a lot of sense, why I think it would cause a lot of problems, a lot of scheduling issues. It would really tax MLS teams that already travel more than anybody else for the most part. I mean, there are very few leagues that have as much travel, Russian league maybe, and maybe not even that. There are a lot of teams on the eastern side of that country, or western side of that country, excuse me. If this was going to serve as some sort of rocket boost, some sort of nitrous hit for the league, and it was like
turbo boost,
the cap's going to go way up. We're going to get a better marketing deal from Adidas or Nike or Under Armour, whoever signs up. We get TV money that I don't know, double triples because of this marketing deal for this tournament. Then you do it. You have to do it because it's about revenue. Roberto, go ahead.
In the last 2 or 3 years of the tournament, I'm talking more about financial situations, only one Brazilian team, or I guess 2 Brazilian teams, have made it to the semifinals in the last 2 years. And you look at the financial advantages, Brazil are wiping over the floor of all the South American countries, even to Mexico and the United States. Yet they fail to do so on the pitch to even make it to a final.
A lot of those Brazilian clubs have problems, and a lot of their biggest players get paid by sponsors directly. So I don't know that I agree with you on that entirely about the financial situation. But Roberto, I think, and this is the argument Trevor's making, so I'm kind of coming around to his side, which makes me feel very wrong. But I think it's about, even if you're not ultimately competitive right out of the gate, if it brings in revenue that you put back into the league, I have to be positive in putting that money back into the league. But if we're talking about
sense, then yeah. But if you're going to compete with these big teams, the champions of each of the or not even the champions, these big teams of every country in South America. What about the other teams in Central America? What do they have?
Well, I mean, what do you mean? What do they have? What do you mean?
Like, you think they're going to beat São Paulo in Brazil?
I mean, I think that I think anybody that goes to Saprissa is going to find something out. You know what I'm saying? I think anybody going there, doesn't matter who you are, you're going to have trouble at Saprissa. I think there are places like that. You go to Tegucigalpa. I mean, seriously, I think you'll
look how so many European teams folded it in the heat of Brazil in the World Cup. I mean, it does something. These guys, it's a different game.
I will say that I will agree with Trevor on this point as well. You don't avoid it because you're scared. You don't avoid it because you're scared. You avoid it because it might not be a good idea. You avoid it if it causes more problems than it creates benefits.
Right now we can't even get the international.
Yeah,
you guys will go out there and play La Bombonera
with
70,000 going against.
Good. Okay, look. Even if you lose 3-4-0 to Boca, an MLS team playing a meaningful match at La Bombonera is huge. I'm sort of with Trevor all of a sudden. It's huge.
Unless you get a good result.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. An MLS team on that stage with the confetti, with the scene that is La Bombonera, I think that just that image sells your league in a way that they've never been able to sell it before.
If it's 6-0, it does it?
When they get more.
I don't. Thanks for the call, Roberto. I think that. Okay, look, 6-0, no, but I don't think they would. I don't know. Maybe there's a line, but I don't know where it is. 401, you're on the air.
Hey guys, I'm Edmund.
What's going on, Edmund?
I have two questions.
I'm Jared.
MLS Cup pick.
I'm Jason.
And MLS MVP pick.
That's your two questions.
Oh, those are questions. Okay.
Cup pick, Jared, right now. Cup pick, go.
Did you say U.S. Open Cup or did you say MLS Cup?
I'm sorry, MLS Cup. MLS Cup.
MLS Cup. I am going to go with LA. It's just easy answer. It seems right if they can sort things out, but right now I'm starting to hesitate a little bit. But I still think they got the best chance.
Okay, right this second, my MLS Cup pick is the New York Red Bulls.
Ooh.
Yep, it is. They are the most complete team in the league right now. They are.
God, that's like saying, oh man, oh geez. I mean, there's just no sexy in that. But I guess sometimes you don't always marry for sexy. You marry for stability.
No. Do not give me West Coast bias. There's some sexy in the New York Red Bulls. Don't act.
Oh my God, we must have different versions of sexy. You're that person that thinks like Calista Flockhart's sexy.
No.
You're the person that thinks that Claire Danes is sexy.
No.
No, if the answer is no, Jason, this is my point. You don't have a good sexy dar.
Did you see that game in Portland they played this weekend?
Okay, what was sexy about it though?
Did you see
Felipe Martins had a great strike.
Okay, they play nice soccer. Don't act like they don't.
I'm not saying they don't play nice soccer.
So what's not sexy about it? And they're from New York. Jersey, but they're from New York.
The fact that you have to quantify that.
Well, look, okay. Tell me that an MLS Cup final at Red Bull Arena, I don't care who the opponent is, but let's imagine that it's Seattle or LA, somebody like that. You're not telling me that that's one of the biggest events in the league's history?
No, it is, but that's just because the stage is big. I'm not sure that the product is great.
Comes from? Oh my God. You're such a hater.
You don't think that you wouldn't? I just wouldn't be as entertained as I would watching the New England Revolution play in the final.
Hashtag Rodius hate. It's just
you're gonna sit there and tell me that New England Revolution is not a more entertaining 90 minutes to watch than New York Red Bulls.
I'm saying that there are other elements that put them on par. Like, the attacking talent for the Revs is great. Don't get me wrong, it's great, but. Lloyd Sam and Bradley Wright Phillips.
And by the way, New England beat New York last week.
I know they did. And Sasha Kleshtin, and you got those kids coming up the wings from the fullback position.
New York's hair game isn't on point with New England's.
Whatever. Edmund, your other question was MVP.
MVP.
It's MVP. It's Giovinco. There's no doubt.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I would say Giovinco. I mean, he stuttered a little bit lately with his injury, but.
No. The guy's got 19 goals and 14 assists.
I mean, Kai Kamara's having a pretpretty dang good season too.
Okay, he's got 2 more goals.
21.
How many assists does Kai Kamara have?
I don't recall. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 or 5.
Edmund, are you from Ohio, Edmund?
No, I lived there for a couple of years, so I'm a fan of the team.
All right, because you're wearing it on your sleeve. There is no argument against Jovinko. I'm sorry, there's not. Not right now. Not based on what he's meant. Thanks for the call, Edmund. What he's meant to Toronto. Without Jovinko, Toronto is not even close to the playoffs right now. They're 7 points back, crying in their milk again.
Yeah, I'm not even sure they're making the playoffs without him right now. So that it's a pretty good pull. But that being said, Toronto's still in 5th place. I mean, they're not doing that great.
No. I realize that they still have some work to do. I realize that. But they are not a very good team without Jovinko. I think the Crew still wins.
Here's the crazy thing. Is there even anyone close to an MVP candidate on Vancouver Whitecaps? That's just maybe the most complete team that's out there.
One of them, yeah. Defensively, they've been excellent. I mean, if you want to give it to somebody like Kendall Waston, or Pa Mutaka, who's been good.
No, I'm not saying that. I am not saying that there's an MVP winner on Vancouver. I'm just saying that it says a lot about that team that there isn't.
I'm just sort of like shocked that Pa Mutaka has had a good year for them. I mean,
he was terrible at Portland. Jeez, he was horrible at Portland.
301, you're on the air.
Hey, it's Amir from DC.
What's going on, Amir?
So, first of all, there's no doubt. It's Seba. It's Seba Jovinko. Must be MVP.
What was that? Why are you? There's no S. It's Jovinko.
Seba.
It's Jovinko. Jovinko. Say Joe. Just say Joe. It's Joe.
Yep, Joe.
Okay, it's Joe. I was corrected. I did take like a couple of months of Italian before I flunked out of college, so at least I got that part. The G and the I make the just sound. It's Jovinko.
How about this though? Kai Kamara's needed 30 less shots to get 2 more goals than Jovinko.
The man takes a lot. I know the man takes a lot of shots, but look at the supporting cast, Jared. Look at the supporting cast. Tell me where.
Some people would say that the amount of money spent in Toronto, it means he does have a good cast.
You know better than that. You know better than that.
I know better than that. I'm just being devil's advocate.
Okay, but you know better than that. Tell me.
I do. In my heart of hearts, I know better.
Tell me where Sebastian Jovinko's Ethan Finley is.
Michael Bradley. He's more of his Will Trapp, I guess.
He's more of his Will Trapp.
No, listen, I'm playing a role right now, but it's Sebastian Jovinko. It's Jovinko. I'm just trying to find someone to even make it close, and I don't know that person exists.
I would say right now for me it's Jovinko, then Kamara, then probably Feilhaber.
I was just thinking Benny Feilhaber, but I mean, I would put Feilhaber there. I would put Feilhaber and Robbie Keane on pretty equal footing since Robbie Keane missed a lot of games this season.
Yeah, but I take that away from him. I ding him for that.
For being injured?
Yeah, you don't get
least valuable hamstring. What?
You don't get extra credit because you were injured. You don't suddenly get.
I do think that you look at 15 goals on a lot less games played and value that to a certain extent, though.
Okay, maybe, but he missed time. I think I can take. Here's a name that I don't think is going to get any votes whatsoever, and I'm not even sure I would vote for him. But I think that he meets the criteria for most valuable in a lot of ways. And I'm sorry, you're gonna claim I'm being unsexy again, but it's Dax McCarty.
No, and I don't think I'm not gonna say because I got mad Dax McCarty love. The hard thing about him and his position, it's always to be said, you can't quantify it the way you can these other, I would say, finishing players or like the playmakers, the goal scorers. Dax McCarty just can't be quantified the same way, and that's why it's harder for players like that to get those votes. Ozzie Alonso should probably have an MVP at this point. There's certain guys out there that they've had seasons like that, and it's been a really tough ask. I think Dax McCarty, if you play that position, you're doing it not for the fanfare.
Right. Yep. Amir, let's do our weekly check-in. How you feeling about your boys? Black and red.
Oh, God, jeez. All right, this is what I got to say. I'm going to make bold prediction right here.
Uh-oh.
Stamp it.
Uh-oh.
DC are going to miss the playoffs.
Oh, my God. Look, he's totally done a turn, Jared.
That's They're 10 points above the cut.
Isn't that like the saddest thing?
I'm looking at the last games of the schedule, though. Right? Where is it? Right here. Okay. Last game, Montreal, away. Not a guarantee. Okay? New York City at home. Not a guarantee.
They should win that game.
At home. Okay, guarantee. Away to Columbus, I still say we have no chance.
Okay, but it also matters what everybody else does. So you would need everybody else to like suck up a bunch of points to pass up DC United. DC United is like a 99% chance of making the playoffs. They need 3 more points and they're mathematically in already.
Yeah, New York has already clinched with 3 more points than them.
Yeah, Amir, they're going to be in the playoffs. I don't know when you went dark. When did it happen? What happened?
I don't know. It's just so sad.
They'll be okay. And you know what? They'll probably grind out something in the playoffs too. And I don't know where they're going to finish in terms of seeding, Jared. Like that matters, I think, for DC. Because that's a team that could use the bye, but they're probably not going to get it now. I think it's probably going to be New York, New England at the top, or maybe even Columbus. They could go for a top seed as well. I mean, the East is not as good as the West, but it's still like that top 3 or 4. That's rough.
I'm fuming still about your MLS Cup pick. Can I go back to something real quick? So are you telling me that the New York Red Bulls are better than all the teams in the Western Conference?
Jay Rodius.
In a one-off, better.
They only have to beat one Western Conference team, and there's a good chance they could do it at home.
So, but you didn't ask my question. Do you think New York Red Bulls is better than the Western Conference?
That has nothing to do with my pick for MLS Cup.
I'm clarifying. You fence sitter.
I think the Red Bulls can go toe to toe with most of those teams. I would pick the Galaxy on a neutral venue, probably. Definitely pick the Galaxy at StubHub Center. I would probably pick Vancouver.
See, this is what I'm talking about. I got your nickname now. Jason Alley Cat Davis. Because all you do is sit on fences all the time. Alley Cat Davis.
Pick the Red Bulls. You're the one.
Yeah, but then you had to quantify it by like, but in this scenario I would do this, and in this scenario I would do that.
But now I'm getting hate because I considered all the factors in play.
No, because you sit on fences.
I'm not sitting on a fence. The New York Red Bulls are my MLS Cup champion right now.
Is there a drop out there about Alley Cat somehow? Like
that doesn't even make any.
I want Jason Davis with Paul Abdul.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were gonna...
Someone with Photoshop skills. I need Jason Davis's head on the cat from.
Sitting on a fence.
I'll hook you up.
I got asked.
I'm just gonna say you have a track record of fence sitting.
I do not. I consider all of the. How am I sitting on a fence if I? Okay, look. First of all, it's stupid to just flat out like say something and declare. All right, whatever.
I just love how it gets you so riled up.
No, I'm fine. Amir, you got anything else?
Yeah. Okay. I'll go back a little bit. I think they'll make the playoffs, maybe lower seed. But what I see, honestly, I see DC as Houston from like 3 years ago. Don't you think? Parallel?
Wait,
maybe?
what?
No, because Houston has a track record of turning it on when it counts. DC does not.
Okay.
All right, Amir. Look, dude,
right.
just hang in there, okay? The playoffs are coming. I know it's not looking good right now. The playoffs are coming. Maybe something happens. Maybe something clicks. You don't know. Maybe they're going to grind it out.
Probably going to grind it out.
All right. Appreciate it, Amir. Thanks for the call, man.
Cheers.
All right. 347-756-6276. We touched on a bunch of MLS here just from those callers. Oh, by the way.
Do you like how I ducked that LA Galaxy part you had at the beginning? Totally ducked it. I ducked and moved that so easily you don't even remember I didn't talk about it.
Why would you bring it up now? Because
I just really at some point I should bite the bullet and do it.
Right. 619, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up? It's Dr. Show. It's me, Enrique.
What's up, man?
Hey, basically, U23 is important. If we had a Euro style, would LA gotten beat that bad? The viewership is key for broadcasting. Until then, ProRail is going to be far, far away. I mean, the argument has been going on Soccer Morning, World Soccer Talk, and other shows, and I think I think until shows like yourself and others are on national TV, and then the culture of the football, the passion exists, then this continental pro rel can possibly exist. The Rebels, I think, do look sexy, and I think the LA New York Red Bulls final will be awesome.
I'm sort of rooting for that. Now you could call me like a big market homer, and I don't really have a rooting interest at all in the Red Bulls winning or the Galaxy winning, Jared. But I sort of want to see that because I do think MLS needs, the juice whenever they can get it. And I think that sort of game, especially at Red Bull Arena. I know in LA the weather's beautiful and the people come out and whatever. But in New York, or at least in Jersey with a full house of Red Bull fans in that building, the noise level, sort of the fact that all that media is already based there in New York. I know there's a lot of media in LA, but it's a different sort of thing. I think it could be big. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm selfish. I want to be able to drive to the game, but I think New York is ready for its time. I think New York has waited for that moment for a long time. God knows the fan base there has waited for that moment for quite some time, and I would like to see. I think it'd be good for the New York City Soccer Wars to have a team that kind of pumped their chest. The team that's been there for a minute, and I wouldn't mind it. I really wouldn't, but. At the same time, like I said, I don't know that the most entertaining final has New York Red Bulls in it, but I am okay with watching it and participating in that for the history aspect, for what it means for New York, and for what it means about the stage MLS could be put upon.
Now, let me say this. I've managed to go to 3 consecutive MLS Cup finals by sheer luck and the charity of some people that helped me out, and Jared let me stay at his house in 2012, so... I've been able to go to 3 Cup finals partly because...
And somehow I had a kid 9 months later. With red hair.
Yeah. With red hair. I don't have...
Your beard, dude. Beard.
My hair is not red. There's not actually a redhead in my family, you'll be shocked to know. There's none. The beard comes out red. The hair comes out brown. My brother's actually darker. Anyway. So two Cup finals in LA and 1 in the freezing ass cold of Kansas, which you were not able to make. We were trying to get you.
And
out.
Would you go back to that?
I think I am willing to deal with that for an MLS Cup final, but that was a crazy experience. I would prefer not to. It's not going to be 5 degrees in New York in early December. It's not. It'll be 25 degrees. Would you make that trip? What would it take for Jared DuBois to come east, go to a Jersey final in 25-degree weather?
Someone to pay for it? I ain't paying my money to go do that. I'm not paying my money for that. If I'm going to pay my money, I'm going to go someplace that is going to be pleasant. If someone's going to pay for me to go out there, I'll go. No big deal.
There are only, let's see, 1, 2... I guess Texas in December could be pleasant.
I would throw Portland and Seattle in there. They're
not going to be nice in December in
Seattle. No. Here's my rationale. The 2-hour plane flight and thus lower fare cost offsets the cold.
Well, you're going to throw Vancouver in there too, right?
I'll throw Vancouver in there, but I got to go through customs. That's worth something.
Yeah, you got to have a passport, got to go through customs, got to deal with all that. Yeah.
But you know what? Vancouver was a badass city, man. I love me some Vancouver while I was there.
Enrique, you got anything else, man?
I get one final question. One national player is an MVP candidate, and if we don't have one in our own league, is that a problem? Thanks a lot for the talk show.
All right, thanks, man. Well, it's
Failhaber, but he's not a national team player.
It's not because Jurgen Klinsmann is ignoring him for some reason. I mean, I just named McCarty, another guy not listed in Klinsmann's teams very often or at all.
Wondolowski on 15 goals. He's an MVP candidate, right?
No, of course not. No, I don't know that means anything. Does it mean anything?
But it does mean something that the 2 names you just read are not even in the radar for the national team.
Were we flipping out when Carlos Ruiz was winning MVPs? Like, was that a thing that bothered us?
No, I don't think so. But I mean, you could say that Kobe Jones was there in that conversation too at that time. You could say that at that time Josh Wolf was a good striker in this league. Clint Mathis was at his peak at that time as well, around 2002, 2003.
Hey, do you remember? Like, was it like a month ago that I went down the list of goal scorers in MLS, and we had to go all the way down to Chris Rolfe before we got to an American?
No, I didn't do that with me.
Yeah, I did on the Best Soccer Show. I definitely did that here. I totally did.
I don't. That's wait.
Yeah.
Hold on, back up, because the leading goal scorer in MLS is American.
No, Kai Kamara is from Sierra Leone. He went to college here, but he's not American in the sense that he's not an American international.
No, but are you talking all-time scores? What are you talking?
No. This year.
This year? No, it's Wondolowski, and he's like fourth or fifth or something.
I know. He's got 15 now. But that's why I'm mentioning it, because it feels like it was only a couple weeks ago that it was Chris Rolfe and he had 9. And it was like, oh my God, we got no American goal scorers anymore.
Oh, you're right. That was Rolfe. That was, unless we just happened to miss Wondolowski that day. I don't think we did, though.
No, I don't think so. Since that time, Wondolowski must have added like 7 goals, and Chris Rolfe has added 1 because he's got 10. And
he plays for DC.
This is true. They're not really a goal scoring machine, are they?
No, they're the opposite of that.
347-756-6276 is your phone number. Let me look at the old outline here.
Are you surprised that DC United is level on goal differential?
Am I surprised? No.
I thought for sure that number would be negative.
They don't give up a ton of goals. They don't give up.
Yeah, but I guess there's just a lot of 0-0s and 1-0s and stuff like that.
2-1s. That was their season until this point. They were winning games by 1 goal. So I'm not surprised at all. In fact, right now, it wasn't that long ago we had a couple of teams in the negative that were in the playoff picture. Right now, only Portland and Toronto are in the negative. Of course, DC United and Montreal.
And Orlando's only 1 point out with a negative 14.
I mean, look at Columbus. They've scored 49 goals, which I think is tied for the league lead right now. There's
3 teams, I think, on 49. 4 teams on 49.
4 teams on 49 goals. New York, Columbus, Toronto, and LA. They've also given up 49 goals.
You know what? Does it say something good or bad? I've been talking up the Western Conference all season long. What does it say about 3 of the top 4 highest goal scoring teams are in the East? Does that mean I'm wrong about the sexiness of what's going on in the West and where the best teams are? Or is that a competition type of thing? That the East Coast plays the East Coast more often, so they score more goals at the top?
Well, the defenses in the East are definitely worse across the board. I mean,
with the exception of DC United.
You've got,
and New York.
You've got Toronto giving up goals, Columbus giving up goals, New York City giving up goals, Orlando giving up tons of goals. Meanwhile, there's only one team that has given up more than 40 goals in the West.
Yeah, Real Salt Lake, where there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7
out of 10. 7 out of 10 teams in the East have given up more than 40 goals. So I think it's a matter of the bad defenses in the East. All right. Do you want to talk about good old Frankie Yallop and the Chicago Fire?
Yeah, I'd love to, because I've been calling for that for a while.
I think a lot of people have. I imagine it's a day of mild celebration in Fireland because something's changed, because the ownership responded to their situation. It's been bad.
Whoa. The ownership did or the league did?
Oh, you're going to throw the conspiracy at me? Because
I'm just saying it's worth noting that Mr. Nelson Rodriguez, the Wolf, I mean, he comes in. That's the fixer.
Wait, did you just come up with that, or did you hear me say it?
I tweeted it like 5 hours ago.
I said it this morning. I said he is Winston.
Hold. What time was my tweet? Hold.
No.
Hold.
I'm letting you take this away from me.
Hold on. I think I may have done it before your show this morning. I did it like at 6 this morning, I think. Hold.
Wait. Okay, but no, I didn't see your tweet. I swear I didn't see
You can say that, but if the timestamp matches, then I get to claim it.
I said it right off the top of soccer.
This is like LAFC with a fedora on it all over again. I never get my due in this world.
Look, we okay, 2 brilliant minds can come up with the same idea at the same time. It does happen.
Oh, 12 hours ago.
Okay.
You didn't have a 6 a.m. show today.
No, but it doesn't matter. It still doesn't mean that
what it means is that you bite my style.
Oh my God. This is like the most contentious show we've done in a really long time.
You know I'm messing with you. Listen, I'm a chronic ungetting doer. I don't get my due consistently.
But I'm telling you, independent, because we are this.
I'm not going to act like it's a novel take either, though.
It's really not. It's really
my motto is be first to unoriginality.
Okay. So we've established, whether it's Jared DuBois or Jason Davis, he came up with it. Nelson Rodriguez is MLS's Winston Wolf. He is the fixer. But it seems that way.
He is, but did he really fix Chivas?
No, he didn't. He just babysat Chivas. He did. He just sat them. He made sure they weren't going to hemorrhage money before they went.
He's the veterinarian with a soft touch as he puts a dog to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, stroke it. Everything's gonna be okay, boy.
That's not the situation here. I do think that it's possible the league had something to do with Nelson Rodriguez being hired. I do think, even if it's not out and out, hire Nelson Rodriguez, do it now. You're in trouble. We're all in this, we all have a stake in your team because it's single entity. I think that more than likely, calls went around. That's what they do. That's what MLS does. MLS will suggest things in a very, I don't know, aggressive manner, hey, we really think you should hire Nelson Rodriguez. And Trevor's pointing out Tim Bezbachenko went from the league office to Toronto FC when they were a mess. I just lost Jared. I just lost you. No audio.
That's because my kid was screaming in the background and I muted it for a second.
Okay, there you go.
I'm that guy that forgets to unmute. But what? Okay, yeah, maybe there's a few guys like this in the league, and this is obviously one of them. But I think it says something about the state of Chicago Fire that it wasn't just simply a coaching change. This needs to be a revamp. Chicago needs to start over. I don't know if that means, I'm not talking rebrand or anything like that, but they got a clean house. And I read somewhere recently where it was a fan talking out there about the Chicago and asking for people's heads and talking about how they've let such talent go, like Brendan Hannon, who their media guy who left and went to LA. That's a big loss for a team. That's one of the better guys in the league leaving and obviously going to a bigger team. So that's one thing, but their talent is left Chicago, and it's left in a few different ways. And I think it was actually, who's the Hunter Jumper? He's the one that was out there talking about this kind of stuff. And maybe that's the type of thing that tipped the boat on this, because that guy lambasted the Chicago Fire last week. And granted, there's probably some sour grapes there, but it goes back to what we said when we talked about Jurgen Klinsmann last week. Someone has to speak up, because it seems like the media in the soccer media in the United States can't put pressure, or it's not enough pressure, or no one listens or appeals to the pressure put on by U.S. media. But when it's players, when it's people on the inside that speak out, you start to see action. So I'd like to see more of this, and up to the national team level as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this game. Your men are brutish, and their play is ugly.
Except that's not the problem. It shouldn't be that way, right? I mean, Frank Gallup turned what could have been a fun team to watch into
why would they went from Frank Klopas to Frank Gallup. This is a team that just asks for mediocrity. Yeah. They pay for mediocrity. Oh. Why? There's guys, Jesse Marsh was on the table and you hire Frank Gallup. I mean, there's Preki was on the table. You hired Frank Gallup. Say what you will about Frankie, at least there'd be passion. Eric Winalda, if you want, talk about a guy that's got history with the Chicago Fire. I mean, he played for the team, for God's sake. I mean, there's other options out there. I'm not saying every one of them's good, but Frank Gallup should only ever sign 2-year contracts. It's the only ones he would ever be able to see out.
Yeah. We'll see what Rodriguez does. Right now, Brian Bliss is the interim manager, gets 5 games to see out the season. They'll hire.
Wasn't he the interim manager last time around too?
No, he did that job. He did that job between Vorzija and Berhalter.
Oh, at Columbus.
Yeah. Was that? Did it go from?
And he did well. He did well enough that his name was in contention down the straight.
Yeah, I think he was in line for possibly getting that job full time, and just it didn't end up happening for him. We'll see how this plays out. I want Chicago to be good.
Who's your Chicago Fire team coach? If you're Chicago Fire, who are you going out there and getting? Are you getting that guy that needs a second chance, like Robert Fraser got done dirty at Chivas USA?
Yeah, he did. I'd like to see Robin Fraser get a second chance. I don't like it that.
Do you go poach like the under 13 coach of the Galaxy and go for like a Mauricio Cienfuegos?
I didn't realize he was coaching U13s. That's pretty freaking amazing, by the way. Mauricio Cienfuegos is coaching your U13 team. By the way,
badass.
I actually want to get to something on the academy front for the Galaxy from that piece you mentioned. Ray from Milwaukee, you're on the air.
Hey, you guys are talking about the Chicago Fire, and I just think that it's an organization that's completely lost. You guys are absolutely right. And that I live in Milwaukee, which is I always say it's a suburb of Chicago. Anyways, I could walk to the train station, and I'm in downtown Chicago in an hour. But the fact is that the location of that stadium, I can't take a train down there. I got to drive down there, and it's in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing else around it.
But is the product even worth that?
But they got to do that. They got to make the best of that bad situation. They're locked into Bridgeview for 30 years. They can't do anything about that.
Make the product attractive. And how do you go about make the product attractive? You got you have fantastic the Chicago Magic. You got a great youth system in Chicago already. Take over the Magic. Make it your academy. Do something along those lines. Start building local players. Start building local talent. And then stop spending your money on these DPs that are terrible.
This is what I want to know from Chicago Fire fans. And Ray, considering you're in Milwaukee and maybe you'd make the trip if it was worth it, this is what I want to know. Are you willing to eat 3 years of no playoffs if you have a strong belief that there's an actual program in place and that they're building towards something and that they're going to get there eventually? If they hired a guy like, say, I don't know, Mauricio Cienfuegos or who?
And by the way, I only throw Cienfuegos out there because it's different. It's the type of player he was. You figure that's the way he would coach.
Maybe I throw Petke in there. Obviously, a guy with some MLS experience. There are some other names, out there. Robin Fraser is one I would sort of trust to help be that guy as well. Richie Williams. Richie Williams deserves another shot to be an MLS manager. So why not give him an opportunity? He's definitely a guy who knows how to work with young players.
No, I wouldn't. Chicago is the third largest city in the United States. They should be spending at the level of power and bringing in big name players like Los Angeles and New York, in my personal opinion.
All right, Ray. You got anything else?
If you want me to go down there, yep.
If you want,
television deal too. You know what I'm saying? We don't get the games here in Milwaukee either, so I mean, it's extremely hard to watch even the closest team to us.
Yeah.
The television market, it's just not great. The schedule, the way it's set up, I think.
Yeah, I think they get blacked out. Thanks for the call, Ray. I think they get blacked out in Milwaukee Fire games, even because I don't think Chicago State. Situation from Brian Strauss at SI.com. I just want to hit on this because Don Garber was in St. Paul today, Jared, to look at the site for the proposed stadium. They had tried something in Minneapolis. It didn't come together. I guess he's very thrilled with the St. Paul site, so we'll see if that happens. I guess I had sort of, maybe I knew it and it just, whatever, it didn't click in my head. LAFC's not happening until 2018. I thought it was 2017, but
I think no, it pushed a year back. They announced that a while back. It was going to push another year.
So that's 2018.
But you're right. The original year was 2017
or 2019. That's what Brian Strauss's story says. That
if they get it right, it's worth the wait. To be honest with you, they're going to miss out on the Cristiano Ronaldo sweepstakes by staying that long, though.
The thing is that MLS wants to bring their teams in pairs to avoid having uneven, an odd number league, and having scheduling issues there. So they're looking for somebody to bring in with Atlanta because Atlanta's definitely coming.
How much balls would it take if St. Paul named their team Sao Paulo?
I don't even think the people of St. Paul would understand that.
I think that would be badass. But first of all, I like the Saint concept and the Twin City concept. You can have some creative names, I think.
They're Minnesota United FC. That's what they are, dude.
Okay, I get that. But if that's the case, is there any difference in your mind between having a team in Minneapolis versus St. Paul? Minneapolis is the bigger name recognition of the two.
Yeah, but
does it matter?
The hockey team plays in St. Paul. Did you know
that?
I
don't know the communities either. Is there a friction in the community between the two cities?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it's like that, really. It's just there's two cities right next to each other. I mean, they just happen to be right next to each other. I don't know. It's I don't know. Give me an example. It's
let's look at San Francisco and Oakland.
Sure. That. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's like that in terms of social.
I think San Franciscans. I don't know. Is that what you say? They probably go to Golden State Warrior games. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, sure.
But they have hard lines between their football teams and their baseball teams.
I think there's a snob factor between San Francisco and Oakland that maybe not.
And St. Paul doesn't even get to claim any big major market team. They don't get to claim them as in the name. There's no the St. Paul this.
That's why they always go with the state rather than the.
I think that's kind of dirty for St. Paul.
They do Minnesota as the whole state because of that issue. It's the Minnesota Twins, the Minnesota Wild, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's not Minneapolis Timberwolves. It's not St. Paul Timberwolves.
Maybe I just expect inherent strife between communities.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know what's going on in California. You guys are fighting over water and stuff.
Dude, we had to fight over area codes too. I mean, I have to fight for my 909.
It's like a post-apocalyptic world.
I can't be associated with Orange County.
So they're looking for somebody to pair up with Atlanta. Minnesota United may start early and play in like the baseball stadium or the football.
They can be ready as an organization. They may not be ready as a infrastructure, but
there's no clear-cut candidates after Sacramento. We all know Sacramento's trying to line up the stuff. St. Louis doesn't have an owner right now, even though there's maybe a stadium idea, building the NFL stadium with soccer in mind, the same way Atlanta's doing it. I hate that stuff, but whatever.
I don't mind it if the owner of the team is also the owner of the Rams, though.
Okay. Groups in Austin, Charlotte, Detroit, Indianapolis, Phoenix, and San Diego are among those that have expressed some level of interest. Nothing solidified there.
I've heard this for 20 years.
Yeah, there's also some NASL news in there as well. All right, so I think we've hit on most of the stuff I wanted to cover today. We didn't get to all the MLS games. Sorry, that's just a thing that's not going to happen every week. I did want to hit on this. You right before the show came on, right before it started, you had mentioned that Charlie Bowman had written a piece for MLSsoccer.com as part of the 24 under 24 situation.
Chucky Boom Boom.
There, he wrote a piece on the LA Galaxy Academy, which is among the best in the league without a doubt.
You think he wrote the title of that?
What is the title?
Cradle to Grave.
Yeah, probably.
I like that, but no, oh wait, no, hold on. The one I just clicked on was Scott French. Are you talking about a different article?
Oh, I thought you said Charlie wrote it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Charlie wrote a different 24 under 24.
So this one is from Scott French, LA soccer writing legend. Scott French.
Mainstay.
Yeah, mainstay. Here's the money quote from Pete Vahanis. The reality of the situation is that we've had to hire security to keep agents away from our U18 training sessions. It's not necessarily to prevent our players from talking with agents. They will eventually when it's time, but it's to guard against their innocence. It's to guard against the fact that we believe in what we're doing from start to finish, and we want to see these kids see it out. That's like mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't think it's a well-known. I don't think it's a secret that the Southern California is the place to look. In addition to St. Louis and New Jersey, there's 3 big hotbeds in America.
North Texas in there as well, dude.
I would, but I still think that there's a tier 2 of those other 3 locations, and tier 1 is only Southern California. Southern California is the clear tier 1 in my mind, and maybe that's because I'm too close to it. From your perspective, is it that way?
It's probably true. And you know what? Part of it is it's the same thing that happens in baseball sometimes, where the kids who live in the locales where they can play year round, they're always the better teams.
Florida, and there's no excuse for Florida not to be in the same conversation.
Maybe, but Florida's got some cultural things that are very different that are
well, not just that, but I think there's a lot more intensity of other sports in Florida too. I mean, it's hard to compete with football in Florida. Yeah, California, you're not competing with football to a big extent.
I think Southern California is more comfortable with its multicultural situation, whereas Florida,
absolutely,
Florida is still kind of like dealing with that, and part of dealing with that is everybody's got to play football.
And it's a Mexican American Chicano relationship. I mean, too, that feel to it. I mean, it's a natural thing to play soccer in Southern California. It's a natural thing. It's become that, and in that tier that I'm talking about, that LA is above, that gap's going to get bigger because of what LA is deciding to do with their academy system. And if other academies don't try to raise their bar to this same level, that gap's only going to get bigger. And it's going to manifest itself in terms of the players being signed and the money going into LA coffers, and the players are able to sign. How many more Giassi Zardes are there coming up? I mean, if they're able to make that kind of talent, this could get to a runaway scenario that people in this league don't want to see. And even I, as a LA fan, I don't want to see it either. But I'd rather everyone else raise their game to compete, and I'm just not seeing that across the board.
This is Los Angeles. I need more than talent. I need stars.
You think Andres Galan was invested in his academy?
I think he was invested in a lot of things that were kind of odd. And by the way, people know I put this out there when Chucky Bone Bone put out that tweet the other day about talking about the guys that are in charge of the the Galaxy system. You got Jovan Karofsky, you have Mauricio Cienfuegos at the 13s. Mike Munoz. A lot of people don't know about Mike Munoz. Mike Munoz is the steal of Chivas USA folding. When Chivas USA started going under, Mike Munoz was running one of the best development academies in the country at Chivas USA. And not only did LA get a lot of those players, they got Mike Munoz in that too. And they brought over one of the best academy guys out there.
I want to say that they just signed up a couple other guys that were previously of Chivas USA. Like
I know they signed a lot of players. I don't know how many. Well, they also brought over Dan Kalichman back in the day when he went over.
He's moved assistant coach somewhere else. Kleban?
Yeah, Brian Kleban. Yeah.
Okay, so he's
Kleban. I'm not sure.
Yeah, whatever. He's in LA now. I mean, he's with the Galaxy now.
And listen, and Chivas was one of the only company. They did a fantastic job of competing with the LA Galaxy in an area that you didn't really think they'd be able to. There's one thing about Chivas USA that was working, it was their academy. They had fantastic products.
Which only goes to highlight why on earth.
Duh and or hello.
Did I know you're 3 years, maybe 4 years away from getting your actual senior team on the field in your own building, but hire those coaches, put them in place, slap LAFC on.
But is that doing the best thing for those players? What's their end game?
You create, maybe you work out a deal with MLS where if you've got kids that are ready to graduate, you find a place for them to play. Maybe you sign them. Maybe they go on loan to LA to Los Dos. Maybe they go and play for Sacramento Republic. Maybe
I get that for U12s, but a guy that's U16, he ain't gonna wait around for that. He's going to LA.
Okay, well, it's sort of like when they start a new high school. Like the seniors get to stay at the old high school for because that's where they've been. But everybody else, like from sophomores on down, goes to the new high school. So you don't have a graduating class the first couple of years. Maybe that's what you do. Maybe you say, okay, look, if you're 2 years away from graduating, go ahead, sign up with the Galaxy or whoever you want. Because obviously, part of their goal is not only to become pro, but those kids also, some of those kids are looking for scholarships. They're looking to be college players, right? That's part of the machine that we've got going on here.
By the way, Chucky Bone Bone's article was on the former pros building a soccer culture.
Okay,
so he talked about a lot of these same guys in that piece that we just talked about right now. And listen, I think MLS is doing a fantastic job of integrating the former player into its future. We've seen it at the coaching level at the highest part. We're seeing it at the academies now with these guys, even Leku Eskandarian, even not even MLS, but at Cosmos Academy. A lot of these guys are finding niches there. And I'm excited that means that for a lot of these guys who probably wondered what their future was going to have, these guys early adopters to MLS, guys that were the founding people, I'm glad that they've found soft landing spots in these clubs and in these structures, because it was a tough ask for these guys to really go play in this league early on.
I think so. I think you're right. I think that's those guys being able to be here, experience this, be part of it, feel ownership of it, then move on and be that generation that gets to teach the kids.
Yeah.
That's as important to the growth of MLS as almost anything else, as how much money you spend on players coming in, on stadiums, on any of that. This is almost as important, getting guys like Pete Vagenas and Mauricio Cienfuegos and Kalichman and all
Danny
of
Dicchio.
Is he academy? Is he
TFC's academy?
TFC academy. There you go. So it's good to see all of those guys giving back. Oh, Dicchio wasn't an original MLSer. He was only a TFC.
He's an original TFCer.
Yeah, first ever goal in TFC history scored by Danny Dicchio.
Was that when all the seats went flying?
Yeah, it's one of the seat cushions.
It's one of my favorite things. For people that are new to MLS, just go Google. Go into YouTube and put TFC seat cushion, and it's just one of my favorite moments all time at MLS.
Doesn't that feel like it just happened?
It does, man. I feel like Alesko Eskandarian just spit out a Red Bull yesterday. So
that was the same year that David Beckham arrived in MLS.
2007.
The same year. The same year there were
8 years ago, dude.
65,000 people at the old Giant Stadium.
Were you blogging by 2007?
I started the winter of 2007.
Watch out now, dude.
I started winter of 2008. So it was a year. I was watching, but I wasn't writing.
Danny Dicchio, man, he converted you.
I guess. Yep. All right. Anything else before we wrap this up? I mean, I haven't even
I think that's it, man. I think we're going to hit some bonus show, though.
Yeah, we are. I haven't
Rodius.
hit one. Did you give me a reason?
I've been far too concise in my takes tonight.
It's far too aggressive towards me, my friend. trying to take me down.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
Flying crane kick to my noggin. All right, that's going to do it for us. Make sure you go to iTunes. I noticed something, Jared.
What's that?
We are no longer the best soccer show when it comes to iTunes ratings. I'm a little surprised.
We haven't pushed that in a while, dude.
No, so this is what we ask people to do. It takes literally 2 seconds. You go to iTunes, you find our page. We'll even put a link on on Twitter. All you gotta do is click it, give us a rating, help us out. We used to push this. We got to
talk about how much you love the bonus shows.
Well, you don't have to write a review if you don't want to. That takes a little extra effort.
I like the reviews, though. I like reading them.
I know you do. All right. That's going to do it. So iTunes ratings and reviews, backheel.com, follow Best Soccer Show. And, we don't have a separate account or anything, but we are hashtagging best bonus show. This is what people have been using. So if you want to comment on anything we hit over there.
Yeah, by the way, great feedback last week on your Know Every Line movies. We had a lot of people give us some great submissions on there.
Yes, we did. And I read the book, so we can, we'll do
cool.
Best bonus show. So
we're gonna do Best Soccer Show book club after this, I think.
Maybe a little bit. I don't want to get too dry, too boring, but we'll figure.
Why a book's got to be boring?
The book's great, but people talking about a book is not really ever that interesting. All right, guys, see ya.
Only the best. And what have you done for me lately?
I am Mikkel Månsen and Paulson Diskede.
Danger zone! Get to the chopper! Oh, it's incredible!
Playing hot dogs and donuts with two fangirls in the locker room?
Or hello.
Get to the chopper!
Michael freaking Oscar Pascal